Hello, collective. I am Juanica, also known as Miss Astrology, and we have a full moon coming up, the first full moon of this astrological cycle or this new astrological year. And this full moon is in the sign of Libra. So, this full moon happens on Saturday, April 16th at 1:55 p.m. and that's in Houston because that's where I live. So that's Central Time. So at this point, the sun will be at 26 degrees of Aries and the moon will be at 26 degrees of Libra. And so luckily, we're starting to see some relaxation, if you will, of Aries energy. We really entered the season and the year very strong and very intense. We had Mercury in Aries, and then we had the new moon in Aries. And so now that some of that has broken up and we've had our emotional outburst and we've dealt with the intensity and we've said what needed to be said. Now that this has happened, now we can go on to the part that is allows us, this energy allows us, because remember, we're dealing with a full moon. So when it's a full moon, the moon is fully lit up by the sun. So tomorrow in the middle of the day, we are going to see a big, beautiful moon. It's going to be fully lit up by the sun. And so because the moon really, well, not really, but because the moon does not emit any of its own light, really the light or the illumination or the knowledge or the awareness that is brought to our emotions, our habits, our moods, the thing the moon represents, the things the moon represents, those are brought to an awareness through our sun, which is, really something that we can be proud of. And so what this energy is doing is the sun, our energy is lighting up those more hidden parts of ourselves so that we are able to now really get to the core of, okay, had this intensity, had this outburst, probably had some fights or some, back and forth with some people. But now that this has really been brought to light or lit up, I really want to address the root of where this is coming from in a way that we can release it's several things. And the reason I said several things, but it could be, of course, in a number of places, depending on where Libra is in your chart. But Libra is an air sign, and all the air signs are about this duality. Libra more so than the other air signs, really even more than Gemini, if you ask me, because Libra's energy or Libra's value, if you will, with it being ruled by Venus, actually comes from, examining balance and duality and really finding the value in both parts of this. So I say that to say, with the sun lighting up certain parts of your chart right now, certain parts of your feelings, certain parts of hidden behaviors, hidden thoughts even, because Libra is an air sign, so it's very logical and very much a thinker. With all of this really being lit up, it's time to really weigh both sides. Libra is the sign of I balance. And so when I say both sides, a lot of times, specifically Libras, you got to really stand up for yourself. And so these relationships, these partnerships are going to be brought to light. And now this is a time for you to really examine if you've been selfish, Aries, the sign of I am, or if you've been a little too selfless, which is Libra. Libra is very much a sign that is the most likely to be a yes man and really try to go with the flow or really try to cover up anything that would bother anyone. And this simply comes from a place of wanting to keep things harmonized and balanced and classy, if you will, like wanting to just keep everything kind of, really looking good and really this aesthetic of very pleasing, very balanced out. And so this is that Libra is the most likely sign to say yes when they mean to say no, or say it's okay when it's really not okay, and they have a different thought on it, or a feeling that just doesn't sit right with them. And so this could very well be a time of you saying, okay, I blew up on somebody, or I let somebody know something, and I actually am kind of feeling bad about it, but at the same time I'm feeling good about it, like that needed to happen. But what is it time now for this weekend to happen is to move through it and to say, okay, we had an argument and I'd like to address it, and I would like to get to the root of it, and I would like to really understand, why we even had this problem, why it was hidden and covered up, so that you can really grow from it. Another aspect that is happening with this transit is Pluto is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, and Pluto is making a square to both the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra. And so this square is tense energy. It's difficult to deal with. And when you're talking about Pluto, it's because this difficulty is coming from a place of change and really rising in power and really creating a clean slate. And for a lot of us, really being able to accept transformation is going to be one of the most powerful things that we do for our relationships right now. And whether that means the transformation in power, like transfer of power, to where you were holding on to something and you had the upper hand, to now maybe just allowing someone else to kind of take the lead and to make more decisions, or those kind of things. So this is really a transformative time. Pluto does like to wipe the slate clean. It likes to give you like another chance. It's the death and rebirth cycle. So it's not just death. It's not endings. It's that time in our lives where we transform. And so Pluto being involved in this is really bringing some transformations to our relationships, our partnerships. Now, here's the thing. And unpopular opinion as an astrologer, I do not correlate Venus with love. And when I say love, I mean romantic love, like marriage, relationships, like fun love, like romantic comedy, like dream partner. For me, that comes more from your sun sign, because that's what brings you joy. That's what you're proud of. That's that inner child, a lot of fun and play and those kind of things. So that's more romantic love. What Libra and Venus represent are those partnerships, those public commitments, those relationships where each are agreeing to bring a part of themselves so that everything is harmonized and balanced. And so this can be work. This can be friendships. This can be just really any public partnering or public relationship. This is contracts. This is even public enemies. This is even legal battles. We know that Libra represents the scale. And so this moon, or this transit, this lunation, is offering us also the opportunity to bring an end to feuds and to resolve legal matters and to stop with public bickering and being enemies with somebody, that when you ultimately start to really think about it and consider it, it just doesn't even make any sense to why you're kind of like having this issue. I also do want to say that Saturn is involved in this as well. Saturn is at 23 degrees of Aquarius. Aquarius is a fellow air sign like Libra. So a lot of what this represents is an opportunity for growth, to where Pluto brings transformation and a clean slate, like just wiping you out. Saturn brings the lesson. Saturn brings the growth. Pluto will wipe you out to where you didn't even necessarily learn anything from that. You're just starting with a clean slate. Saturn, on the other hand, will offer you opportunities to grow and to elevate and to level up through your lessons. And so I think this is really important to grasp, is that we're learning a lot of lessons about partnering. And with Aquarius being another air sign, this is a lot of us learning to be for the greater good of humanity and for the collective. And we've come from this So many generations, it seems like, or these more recent generations are very much about self. And listen, I get it. I get self-preservation. I get self-care. I'm actually a big fan of all of those things. But what happens is Aries is the first sign of us taking care of ourselves and making sure we have our resources and making sure that we're heard and making sure that we're nurtured and making sure that we have joy and we're having fun. And then once you start going from that Leo energy of joy and having fun, then Virgo starts to say, okay, how can I serve other people? And then after Virgo, which was the full moon that we had last month in Pisces season, now Libra says, okay, how can I balance every nurturing and healing and aspect that I've really poured into myself? How can I balance those qualities and those lessons and those things with not just myself? How can I serve and offer and balance those things to the rest of the chart, or to the collective, people in relationships, people you have partnerships with? And this is, Libra is the seventh sign. So if you look at the chart as a whole, the first six really are the bottom. These are your foundations. These are your home. This is, the nighttime for the most part of the chart, like where you are at home with your family, with your parents when you're younger, like that's that. But then once you start to get to Libra, this is when you actually leave the house. This is when you come up and you rise up once you go into Scorpio, and you say, you know what, I see my gifts. I see where I can bring balance. I see where I can bring harmony. I see where I can offer service to other people. I'm rising up like a phoenix. And then from the eighth sign of Scorpio, you go to Sagittarius. This is where so much more wisdom comes in, because now you're really outside of the house. And me, as heavy Sagittarius energy, I am a firm believer of the world being a classroom. And so once you get to that Sag energy, you're really starting to take in more of what you're learning about other people. And so I say all that to say that if we will really use the energy this weekend to release anything in relationships that just doesn't feel fair, just any that's not balanced. Now this can, and we got to be mindful of this, you guys. We can't be so selfish. I know it's still Aries season, but we have to really start thinking of where we can compromise more in relationships, where we can also speak up and let our opinions and our feelings and our emotions be heard. Maybe where we can offer more of, our inner experiences that we're keeping to ourselves, because remember, after Libra comes Scorpio. So some of that needs to come up and be exposed as well. Not to mention that Scorpio is getting squared off from Saturn energy in Aquarius right now. So this is about bringing some of that. It's okay. It's no big deal. No, it's not a problem. Those things that you just kind of let fester. This is a time to bring those out and to address those things. This is going to bring the balance. This is going to be the fairness, because for a lot of us, other people that we have partnerships with or that we're in this commitment with don't even realize that things are bothering us. Don't even realize that there's a part that we're not happy about. And so we need to voice those things so that they have the opportunity to adjust the scales, adjust the balance, adjust the fairness. And then that in turn will bring an overall harmony to our relationships. So this is a great full moon to go into the new year. Be really open and mindful of your partnerships, good or bad. Remember, Libra is the scales. Is it a time to end a feud? Is it a time to wrap up a legal issue or a legal battle? Is it a time to just say, you know what, I'm done with all this public bickering? Is it a time to step up more? And listen, I get the image, I get the download of somebody wanting to be on your social media platform. You are in a relationship with somebody who's like, why don't you ever even post me in your stories? And for you, that's no big deal. But there's someone else that is a big deal for. And this is time for us to show that balance and show that value. We also have Neptune and Jupiter still really tightly conjunct in the sign of Pisces. Very healing energy, very life of your dreams, very much ascension. And so if we will tap into this energy over the weekend of the full moon, that Pisces energy is then going to kick in, and Jupiter is going to move on to Aries really soon. So we're really going to feel good about the effort that we've made in our relationships, whether that be the effort to simmer down or the effort to stand up a little bit more. Whatever that is, you know where you're not being fair, you know where you're not being balanced. And if you don't know, that's going to come up for you this weekend. And the best thing you can do is to be really open with this energy. Listen to both sides, because the moon is in Libra. Libra is very much both sides. Like, what about? Because when you think about it, the scales, Libra being the only sign that's not represented by an animal, the scales, the Libra holds the scales, they are here to weigh, and they don't really have any significance without the contributions of others. And so you need to listen to what other people have to say to you. We learn a lot from our relationships with other people. We grow and mature and learn more about ourselves, what we like and what we don't like, through our relationships with other people. And maybe we're learning, where we need to communicate better, or, where we need to communicate more or less, or listen more, which is part of communicating. Listen is very much a part of communicating. It's not just speaking. So wherever this is, also, Libra is very much a sign about aesthetics and beauty. And so maybe we're finding new value in what we consider beautiful, and we're really starting to redefine beauty. For some of us, we may be cleaning out the house and redefining or beautifying the home, or sprucing things up around the house. That's very in line with moon, which is home, and Libra, which represents beauty in so many ways. I do recommend that if you're going to have a ritual at all this weekend, you honestly have the full weekend. Today's Friday, the 15th. The moon goes exact on the 16th at 1:55 in the afternoon, and really all through the rest of the weekend through Sunday. And so what I really encourage you to do, specifically those people that have never done any kind of ritual work or intention work, working with the moon before, I encourage you most to do this. And the reason that I say you most is because Libra and Aries and Capricorn, which Pluto's in Capricorn, these are all cardinal signs. So they like to take action. They like to do things. And so this is, if you've never done a ritual, this is something that you really want to do right now. So I highly encourage candles and burning paper, or maybe even bay leaves. You really want to tap into the colors of Libra, which are like the light pinks and even maroon, though. Black also, it's just a very classic color. And a black candle is always good for banishing anyways. If you don't have black, you can always use white. You can carve something into the side of the candle, what you want to release, whether it be the relationship or the negativity of the relationship. Pick some pretty specific words if you can. I want to release arguing. I want to release discontent. I want to release grudges. I want to release the need to be right all the time, or selfishness, or any of those kind of things. I would actually probably put it on paper, and it's just for me because air signs, Libra is an air sign, or bay leaf, just something I can burn and watch just kind of burn up and go up in smoke, and just know that it's gone. Smoke, again, being a representation of the air signs. So this could be really good, whatever you really feel drawn to. But this is a pretty simple moon, and so it doesn't need like all this kind of intricate stuff. That's when you get to the eclipses and Scorpio and Taurus and things like that. This one is just about taking the action, setting the intentions, setting some side of time to really, work with the planets to set the intention of what you want to manifest for your relationships, for partnerships, wherever there's not really a sense of balance in your life. This could even be your relationship with money. So your relationship with your body and your own health, your relationship with sleep. Okay, so this is a good energy to release those things that are hindering a balanced and fair relationship, or release those things that are hindering anything from allowing you to feel beautiful or to feel the value of beauty in your life. So I hope that helps. I hope that you take some time to really jump in with this moon, and let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you are going to do for your full moon ritual. And until next time, peace.